Today, let's take a journey to one of the most extreme and breathtaking places in India, Ladakh, home to the coldest inhabited villages in the country. Nestled high in the Himalayas, Ladakh is a land of rugged beauty, rich culture, and incredible resilience. Ladakh is home to some of the coldest inhabited villages in India, where temperatures can plummet to as low as -40 degrees Celsius -40 degrees Fahrenheit during the peak of winter. The region's unique geographical position, nestled high in the Himalayas at altitudes ranging from 9,800 to over 18,000 feet above sea level, exposes it to extreme cold and heavy snowfall. The combination of high altitude, thin air, and icy winds creates an environment where even basic survival becomes a challenge. The winter season in Ladakh lasts for nearly 6 to 7 months, starting from October and often extending into April. During this period, the entire landscape is covered in a thick layer of snow, rivers freeze solid, and access to many remote villages becomes nearly impossible. The Zanskar River, for example, turns into a frozen highway, allowing people to travel between villages by trekking across its icy surface in what is famously known as the Chadar Trek. One of the most affected areas is Dras, often referred to as the gateway to Ladakh, and considered the second coldest inhabited place on Earth. The people of Dras and surrounding villages have learned to adapt to these conditions, but the cold brings severe hardships. Water pipelines freeze, making access to drinking water difficult, and electricity supply becomes irregular due to frozen power lines. Even simple tasks like cooking and bathing require extra effort, as water has to be heated over wood or yak dung fires. The extreme cold also affects human health. Frostbite and hypothermia are constant threats, and the lack of oxygen at such high altitudes can cause altitude sickness, particularly for visitors who are not acclimated. Many locals use natural remedies and traditional herbal medicines to combat cold-related ailments. Despite these hardships, the people of Ladakh have developed unique ways to survive. Thick, layered clothing made from wool, yak fur, and pashmina keeps them warm. Traditional houses built with mud and stone retain heat, and small wood-burning stoves provide warmth inside homes. To preserve body heat, they drink butter tea, pacha, a high-calorie beverage made with yak butter, salt, and tea leaves, which helps them stay warm and energized in freezing temperatures. The extreme cold defines life in Ladakh, shaping everything from daily routines and survival techniques to cultural traditions and community bonds. The ability of the Ladakhi people to withstand such brutal winters with courage and resourcefulness is a testament to human resilience in one of the world's harshest environments. Living in Ladak's freezing temperatures is not just about enduring the cold. It's about adapting to an extreme environment where everyday tasks require strategic planning and resilience. The harsh climate affects every aspect of life, from housing and clothing to food and transportation. Unlike urban cities where heating systems and modern infrastructure provide comfort, the people of Ladakh must rely on traditional wisdom, self-sufficiency, and community support to survive. One of the biggest challenges is housing. Traditional Ladakhi houses are built with thick mud bricks, stone, and wooden beams, designed to insulate against the intense cold. The walls are made extra thick to retain heat during the night, and the windows are small to minimize heat loss. Many homes have flat roofs covered with a layer of dried grass or mud to provide additional insulation. The houses are often clustered together to block cold winds and create a sense of warmth within the community. Inside the home, a bokhari, a traditional wood or dung-burning stove, is the primary source of heat. However, wood is scarce in Ladakh due to the lack of dense forests, so people rely on yak dung, dried shrubs, and even solar energy for heating and cooking. Families spend months collecting fuel before winter arrives to ensure they have enough to last the season. Clothing is another major aspect of survival. The people of Ladakh wear multiple layers of thick woolen garments, often made from yak wool or pashmina, one of the warmest natural fibers in the world. Traditional attire includes the ganka, a long, warm robe tied with a belt, often lined with fur for extra warmth. Woolen gloves, caps, and thick boots made from yak leather help protect against frostbite. Unlike synthetic modern materials, these traditional clothes are specifically designed to provide warmth while allowing flexibility for daily tasks. Food is also a key concern. Due to the extreme cold, agriculture is limited and very few crops can survive. The people of Ladakh grow barley and wheat, which are used to make tsampa, roasted barley flour, and local bread. Green vegetables are scarce in winter, so people dry fruits, vegetables, and meat during summer months to store for the long winter ahead. Butter tea, pacha, made with yak butter and salt, is a staple beverage that provides both warmth and energy. Meat from yaks and sheep is dried and preserved to last through the cold months when fresh food is unavailable. Water is another critical issue. During winter, lakes, rivers, and even underground water sources freeze solid, making it difficult to access clean drinking water. People collect and store ice from frozen rivers, which is later melted for daily use. Some villages have developed ice stupas, artificial glaciers built in winter to store water for summer irrigation. These innovative methods help sustain the community despite the challenging environment. Transportation in Ladakh during winter is extremely difficult. Many roads, including the crucial Lemanali and Lesrinagar highways, remain closed for months due to heavy snowfall. Some remote villages get completely cut off, forcing people to stockpile essential supplies before winter begins. In recent years, the government has worked on improving connectivity through the Atal Tunnel and air transport, but many areas still face severe isolation. Despite these harsh conditions, the sense of community and togetherness in Ladakh is incredibly strong. Families share resources, help each other collect fuel and food, and come together to celebrate festivals that bring warmth to their lives. The ability to adapt and thrive in one of the world's coldest environments is a testament to the strength and endurance of the Ladakhi people. Surviving in Ladakh's extreme cold requires not just warm clothing and shelter, but also a carefully planned diet that provides high energy, warmth, and essential nutrients. Due to the harsh winters, where temperatures can drop as low as -40°C, food plays a crucial role in keeping the body strong and insulated against the freezing conditions. Since agriculture is limited in such a cold and high-altitude region, the people of Ladakh have developed a unique diet based on locally available resources, traditional preservation techniques, and high-energy foods that sustain them through long winters. One of the most important staples in Ladakhi cuisine is barley, a resilient crop that grows even in high-altitude conditions. Barley is ground into a fine flour called tsampa, which is a nutrient-rich, high-calorie food that can be eaten raw, mixed with butter tea, or made into porridge. It is a quick energy source, making it an essential part of the Ladakhi diet. Barley is also used to prepare chang, a traditional Ladakhi fermented barley beer, which is consumed during festivals and social gatherings to keep warm. Another key element of the Ladakhi diet is dairy products, particularly those derived from yaks and zos, a hybrid of yaks and cows. Yak butter, cheese, and milk are packed with calories and help generate body heat in the freezing cold. Butter tea, known as pacha, is a staple beverage in Ladakh. Made by churning tea leaves, yak butter, and salt, this drink provides fat and warmth, keeping the body hydrated and energized in the cold weather. Unlike regular tea, which can dehydrate in cold climates, butter tea helps maintain body temperature and prevents altitude sickness. Meat is also an essential part of the diet, particularly during the winter months when fresh vegetables are scarce. Ladakhis consume dried and preserved meat from yaks, sheep, and goats, which are sun-dried in summer and stored for use in winter. Meat is often cooked in stews with barley flour, spices, and butter to make hearty meals that provide the necessary warmth and strength. Since fresh vegetables are difficult to grow in the freezing climate, the people of Ladakh rely on preservation techniques such as drying, fermenting, and pickling. In the summer months, radishes, turnips, and leafy greens are harvested and dried for winter use. Fermented foods like gundruk, fermented spinach, and pickled vegetables provide essential vitamins and minerals to compensate for the lack of fresh produce. One of the most popular dishes in Ladakh is momos, which are steamed dumplings filled with vegetables, yak meat, or cheese. Another traditional dish is thukpa, a warm noodle soup made with meat, vegetables, and broth, which is not only delicious but also helps in maintaining body heat. Skyu, a hearty Ladakhi stew made with wheat dough, root vegetables, and meat, is another traditional dish consumed in winter. These dishes are high in calories and proteins, ensuring that the body stays warm and energetic despite the cold. Due to the region's remoteness and harsh climate, food supplies from outside are limited, so self-sufficiency is a necessity. Ladakhi families store food well in advance of winter, ensuring they have enough grains, dried fruits, and preserved foods to last through months of snow-covered isolation. The Indian Army, stationed in Ladak's extreme conditions, also follows a similar diet plan, consuming high-calorie foods like parathas, dry fruits, and canned meat to withstand the intense cold. Even in modern times, where some packaged foods are available, traditional Ladakhi food remains the best way to survive in the cold. The diet is designed to provide maximum energy, maintain hydration, and keep the body warm, making it an essential part of life in one of the world's most challenging environments. Ladakh is not just a land of extreme weather and breathtaking landscapes. It is also a place of vibrant cultural traditions, deep spiritual beliefs, and colorful festivals. Despite the harsh environment, the people of Ladakh have preserved their unique way of life, which is heavily influenced by Tibetan Buddhism and Islam. The region's rich history, religious diversity, and strong sense of community make it a cultural treasure unlike any other in India. One of the defining aspects of Ladakhi culture is its deep connection to Tibetan Buddhism. The majority of Ladakhis follow Mahayana Buddhism, and the region is dotted with centuries-old monasteries, gampas, prayer flags fluttering in the wind, and stupas that hold religious significance. Monasteries such as Hemis, Thiksi, and Diskit are not just places of worship, but also centers of learning where monks study ancient scriptures, practice meditation, and preserve Ladakh's spiritual traditions. Prayer wheels, inscribed with sacred mantras, are found throughout villages, and locals spin them as a way of seeking blessings. In addition to Buddhism, Ladakh is home to a significant Muslim population, particularly in Kargil and Dras. The Muslim community has coexisted peacefully with Buddhists for centuries, creating a unique blend of traditions. Islamic architecture, mosques, and Sufi shrines can be found alongside Buddhist monasteries, reflecting the region's religious harmony. Both communities celebrate their respective festivals with enthusiasm, contributing to the diverse cultural fabric of Ladakh. Ladakh is known for its vibrant festivals, which bring color, music, and joy to an otherwise harsh environment. These festivals are often celebrated in monasteries, featuring masked dances, cham, music, and rituals performed by Buddhist monks. The Hemis Festival, held in the Hemis Monastery, is one of the most famous festivals in Ladakh. It marks the birth anniversary of Guru Padmasambhava, the founder of Tibetan Buddhism, and is celebrated with elaborate masked dances, traditional music, and religious ceremonies. Another important festival is Losar, the Ladakhi New Year, which takes place in winter. It is a time of family gatherings, prayers, and feasting, where people clean their homes, offer prayers, and light butter lamps to welcome the new year with positivity. During Losar, people exchange gifts, perform traditional dances, and organize grand feasts that include local delicacies like kambir, Ladakhi bread, dried fruits, and butter tea. Apart from Buddhist festivals, Ladakh also celebrates Eid and Nowruz, which are important occasions for the Muslim community. These festivals bring people together for prayers, feasting, and charity, reinforcing the region's strong sense of unity and mutual respect. Ladakhi culture is also reflected in its traditional arts and crafts. The region is famous for Thangka paintings, intricate Buddhist religious paintings on cloth, wood carvings, and metalwork. Hand-woven woolen carpets, pashmina shawls, and colorful Ladakhi dresses showcase the skill and artistry of local craftsmen. The traditional Ladakhi dress, called ganka, is worn with a colorful sash and often adorned with silver and turquoise jewelry, reflecting the influence of Tibetan aesthetics. Music and dance are integral to Ladakhi culture. Folk songs and dances are performed during festivals, weddings, and celebrations, often accompanied by traditional instruments like the daman, drum, and surna, a wind instrument similar to a clarinet. Popular folk dances include the Jabro dance, the Chong Urches dance, and the Shandal dance, which are performed with elegant movements and rhythmic beats. Storytelling is another cherished tradition in Ladakh. Elders pass down legends, folk tales, and historical narratives through oral storytelling, keeping the region's history alive. These stories often include tales of brave kings, mythical creatures, and moral lessons that reflect Buddhist philosophy and Ladakhi wisdom. Despite modern influences, Ladakhis take great pride in preserving their cultural heritage. Even with increasing tourism and infrastructure development, the people of Ladakh continue to uphold their traditions, ensuring that their way of life remains intact for future generations. Ladakh, with its breathtaking landscapes, ancient monasteries, and adventurous terrain, has become a major tourist attraction, drawing visitors from all over the world. Tourism plays a crucial role in Ladakh's economy, providing employment opportunities and supporting local businesses. However, due to the region's harsh climate and geographical isolation, economic activities are limited, making tourism and the presence of the Indian Army two of the primary sources of livelihood for the local population. For centuries, Ladakh was an important part of the ancient Silk Route, which connected India to Central Asia, Tibet, and China. Traders traveled through Ladakh, exchanging goods like pashmina wool, spices, silk, and dried fruits. However, after the closure of trade routes in the mid-20th century, due to geopolitical tensions, Ladakh's economy had to shift towards tourism and government-supported industries. Tourism, a booming industry in Ladakh. Over the past few decades, tourism has emerged as the backbone of Ladakh's economy, transforming the region from a remote, self-sustained land into a global travel destination. Adventure seekers, spiritual travelers, and nature lovers visit Ladakh for its spectacular Himalayan scenery, high-altitude trekking routes, and rich cultural experiences. The number of visitors increased significantly after Ladakh was featured in popular media and Bollywood movies like Three Idiots, which showcased the beauty of Pangong Lake. One of the most popular attractions in Ladakh is Leh, the capital city, which serves as the gateway for most tourists. Leh is home to vibrant markets, ancient Buddhist monasteries, and historic sites like Leh Palace and Shani Stupa. Adventure tourism is also a major draw, with activities like motorbiking on the world's highest motorable roads, Kardung La Pass, trekking in the Marka Valley, whitewater rafting in the Zanskar River, and winter ice trekking on the frozen Chadar River. Monastery tourism is another significant aspect of Ladakh's tourism industry. Visitors come from around the world to experience the spiritual atmosphere of monasteries like Hemis, Thiksi, Alki, and Diskit. These monasteries not only offer a glimpse into Ladakh's deep Buddhist heritage, but also hold annual festivals, which attract thousands of tourists. The Hemis Festival, Dasmosh Festival, and Losar, Ladakhi New Year, celebrations provide travelers with a unique opportunity to witness Ladakh's vibrant culture. In recent years, ecotourism and sustainable travel have gained importance in Ladakh. Due to the fragile environment, local authorities and communities are encouraging responsible tourism that minimizes environmental impact. Homestays, organic farms, and solar-powered guest houses have become popular alternatives to conventional hotels. The homestay movement in Ladakh allows visitors to stay with local families, experience Ladakhi hospitality, and contribute directly to the community. Economic impact of tourism. Tourism has created employment opportunities in various sectors, including hospitality, transportation, handicrafts, and guiding services. Local hotels, guest houses, restaurants, and travel agencies thrive during the tourist season, May to September, providing income to thousands of Ladakhis. Many families run small businesses, selling traditional Ladakhi handicrafts, woolen garments, and pashmina products to tourists. The demand for local food and souvenirs has also boosted agriculture and traditional crafts. Farmers grow vegetables and grains to supply hotels and restaurants, while artisans craft unique Ladakhi products like Thanka paintings, prayer wheels, silver jewelry, and wooden carvings. Women-led self-help groups have also emerged, empowering local women by involving them in handicraft production and hospitality services. However, tourism in Ladakh is highly seasonal, as winter conditions make travel difficult for most visitors. During the long winter months, November to March, economic activity slows down, forcing many people to rely on savings from the tourist season. This seasonality makes the economy vulnerable, as local businesses depend on a short window of income each year. The role of the Indian Army in Ladakh's economy. Apart from tourism, the presence of the Indian Army is another major economic factor in Ladakh. Given Ladakh's strategic location near China and Pakistan, the region has a strong military presence, with numerous army bases and outposts. The Indian Army provides employment opportunities for locals in the form of civilian jobs in military supply chains, road construction, and logistics. Many Ladakhis work with the Army as porters, drivers, and laborers, assisting in transporting goods and maintaining infrastructure in remote border areas. The military also plays a crucial role in road development, air transport, and medical facilities, improving the overall economy and connectivity of Ladakh. The Border Roads Organization, BRO, has constructed some of the world's highest motorable roads, such as the Limanali Highway, Zojila Pass, and Atal Tunnel, which help both military and civilian movement. The Army's demand for supplies also benefits local businesses, as they require food, fuel, and winter clothing for soldiers stationed at high-altitude posts. Many local traders provide essential goods to the Army, contributing to the region's economy. Challenges and the future of Ladakh's economy. While tourism and the Army provide significant economic opportunities, Ladakh faces major challenges in maintaining a stable economy. The region's remote location, extreme weather, and environmental concerns pose difficulties in sustaining long-term economic growth. Over-tourism, especially in fragile areas like Pangong Lake and Nubra Valley, has led to waste management problems, water shortages, and ecological damage. To address these challenges, the local administration and communities are focusing on sustainable tourism, organic farming, and renewable energy projects. Efforts are being made to extend the tourist season by promoting winter tourism, including activities like snow leopard tracking, ice climbing, and winter trekking. Additionally, the government is investing in better infrastructure, improved road connectivity, and eco-friendly policies to ensure that Ladakh's economy continues to thrive while preserving its natural and cultural heritage. Ladakh, often referred to as the land of high passes, is known for its breathtaking landscapes, but what truly defines life here is its extreme and unpredictable weather conditions. Situated at an altitude of over 3,000 meters, 9,800 feet, above sea level, Ladakh experiences one of the most harsh and unforgiving climates in the world. The region is characterized by bone-chilling winters, scorching summer days, low oxygen levels, and minimal rainfall, making survival a constant challenge for both locals and visitors. The bitter cold, surviving the harsh winters. Winter in Ladakh is brutal and long, lasting from November to March, with temperatures often dropping to -30 degrees Celsius -22 degrees Fahrenheit in Leh, and even as low as -40 degrees Celsius -40 degrees Fahrenheit in remote villages like Dras, which is considered one of the coldest inhabited places on Earth. During this time, the entire region is covered in a thick blanket of snow, roads become impassable, water sources freeze, and daily life slows down significantly. One of the biggest challenges in winter is the lack of running water. Since pipes freeze due to sub-zero temperatures, people have to store large containers of water or melt ice and snow for daily use. Traditional Ladakhi homes are built with thick mud brick walls and small windows to retain heat, and people rely on wood-burning stoves, bokari, or yak dung fires for warmth. Solar energy is also increasingly being used to generate heat, but traditional heating methods remain essential. During winter, most roads, including the crucial Limanali and Srinagar highways, are blocked due to heavy snowfall, cutting off Ladakh from the rest of India. Only air transport is available, and flights are often delayed or cancelled due to fog and extreme weather conditions. The isolation forces Ladakhis to stockpile food, firewood, and essentials before winter arrives. Despite these hardships, winter is also a time of cultural celebration and resilience. Many villages participate in traditional winter festivals like Losar, Ladakhi New Year, and Dasmosh, where people gather to celebrate, perform mass dances, and strengthen social bonds. These events help bring warmth and joy to the cold months. The scorching summers, a land of extremes. While winters are freezing, Ladak's summers can be surprisingly hot during the daytime, with temperatures reaching up to 30 degrees Celsius (86 degrees Fahrenheit) in some areas. However, because of the high altitude, the air is thin and the sun's rays are much more intense. The lack of dense vegetation or cloud cover means that direct sunlight can be extremely harsh, causing sunburns, dehydration, and even heatstroke if proper precautions are not taken. Despite the heat during the day, nights remain cold, often dropping to near freezing temperatures. This drastic temperature variation within a single day makes it difficult for the human body to adjust, and visitors often suffer from altitude sickness, acute mountain sickness, AMS, which causes headaches, dizziness, nausea, and shortness of breath. To combat AMS, people are advised to acclimatize slowly, stay hydrated, and avoid strenuous activities in the first few days after arriving in Ladakh. Low oxygen levels and the struggle to breathe. Ladakh's high altitude means that oxygen levels are much lower than in other parts of India. At 3,500 meters, 11,500 feet, above sea level in Leh, oxygen levels are about 60 to 70% of what they are at sea level. This makes even basic activities like walking or climbing stairs physically exhausting, especially for those not accustomed to high altitudes. Locals have naturally adapted over generations, but for visitors and new residents, breathing difficulties, fatigue, and dizziness are common issues. For those traveling to even higher altitudes, such as Pangong Lake, 4,225 meters, or Kardung La Pass, 5,359 meters, the oxygen levels drop even further, increasing the risk of severe altitude sickness. Travelers are advised to take proper rest, drink warm fluids, and, in extreme cases, carry portable oxygen cylinders. Minimal rainfall and the challenge of water scarcity. Ladakh is classified as a cold desert, receiving less than 100 millimeters of rainfall annually, making it one of the driest regions in India. Unlike other parts of the Himalayas, which receive heavy monsoon rains, Ladakh is shielded by the mountains, preventing rain-bearing clouds from reaching the region. As a result, there are no lush green forests, and only hardy plants and shrubs can survive in the arid conditions. Water scarcity is one of the biggest challenges for Ladakhis. Rivers like the Indus and Zanskar provide water, but in many remote villages, people rely on glacial meltwater for drinking and irrigation. However, with climate change, glaciers are receding at an alarming rate, threatening the region's water supply. To combat this issue, Ladakh has developed innovative solutions like ice stupas, which are artificial glaciers created by freezing water in winter. These ice towers slowly melt in summer, providing much-needed water for farming and daily use. Rainwater harvesting and sustainable irrigation techniques are also being promoted to ensure water availability. The ever-present winds and dust storms. Another unique aspect of Ladakh's climate is its strong winds and dust storms. Due to the barren terrain and lack of vegetation, strong winds blow across the valleys, lifting dust and sand, creating blinding conditions. These dust storms can be particularly severe in areas like Nubra Valley and Chongtang, where the dry, loose soil gets easily carried by the wind. For travelers, these dust storms can be an inconvenience, making it difficult to see and breathe. Many people wear scarves or masks to protect themselves from the fine dust particles. Locals, however, are used to these conditions and have adapted by building homes in sheltered areas and using protective coverings. Adapting to a life of extremes. Living in Ladakh requires immense resilience and adaptability. The contrast between the scorching sun and freezing nights, the struggle for water, the low oxygen levels, and the long, isolating winters make it one of the toughest places to survive. However, the people of Ladakh have mastered the art of living in extreme conditions, relying on their traditional knowledge, community support, and innovative solutions. Despite these harsh climatic conditions, Ladakhis continue to thrive, proving that human endurance and adaptability can conquer even the most extreme environments. Life in Ladakh is deeply influenced by the region's harsh climate, high altitude, and isolation from the rest of the world. As a result, both food and daily lifestyle have evolved in a way that prioritizes survival, sustainability, and self-sufficiency. The traditional diet of Ladakhis is simple yet nutritious, designed to provide warmth and energy in the face of extreme cold, while the daily routine revolves around community, spirituality, and hard work. Traditional food, a diet for harsh conditions. Due to Ladakh's arid climate and short agricultural season, growing food is a challenge. Most of the crops cultivated in Ladakh are those that can survive in the harsh, cold desert environment. The main staple foods include barley, wheat, and potatoes, which are used to prepare a variety of traditional dishes that provide essential nutrients and keep the body warm during the freezing winters. One of the most important foods in Ladakhi cuisine is tsampa, roasted barley flour. It is considered a superfood in Ladakh due to its high energy content and long shelf life. Tsampa is often mixed with butter tea, milk, or water to make a thick paste and eaten for breakfast or during work in the fields. It requires no cooking and is easy to carry, making it an ideal food for people living in the mountains. Another popular dish is thukpa, a warm and hearty noodle soup made with vegetables, meat, and local spices. It is commonly eaten in winter as it provides warmth and energy. Variations of thukpa can be found in Tibetan, Nepalese, and Bhutanese cuisine, but Ladakhi thukpa has its own unique flavors, often including locally grown mustard leaves and dried yak meat. Butter tea, known as gur chai, is an essential part of Ladakhi life. It is made from strong brewed tea leaves, yak butter, and salt, giving it a rich, creamy, and slightly salty taste. While it may be unusual for those unfamiliar with it, butter tea plays a crucial role in Ladakhi culture, providing warmth, hydration, and energy. Drinking butter tea is also a social custom, offered to guests as a sign of hospitality. Ladakhis also consume a variety of dairy products, particularly from yaks and zos, a hybrid between a yak and a cow. Yak cheese, dried cheese cubes, chirpy, and fermented dairy products are commonly eaten and are rich in protein and fat, helping people sustain themselves during the long winters. Meat is an important part of the Ladakhi diet, especially in winter when fresh vegetables are scarce. Dried yak and mutton meat are preserved and used in stews and soups, providing protein and warmth. Unlike other parts of India, where vegetarianism is common, Ladakhis rely on meat to survive in the extreme cold. Ladakh also has some unique fermented beverages, such as chang, a traditional barley beer brewed at home. It is often consumed during festivals and social gatherings, and has been part of Ladakhi tradition for centuries. Daily life and traditional lifestyle. Ladakhis follow a simple, self-sufficient lifestyle, deeply connected to nature, community, and spirituality. The extreme weather and geographical isolation mean that people must rely on carefully preserved resources, cooperative work, and sustainable practices to survive. One of the most notable aspects of Ladakhi lifestyle is the strong sense of community and hospitality. In villages, neighbors help each other during difficult times, whether it's harvesting crops, repairing houses, or preparing for winter. Guests are treated with great respect and are always offered food and butter tea, even by those who have little to spare. Most Ladakhis wake up early to begin their daily chores. Farming is the primary occupation in rural areas, but due to the short growing season, agricultural work is concentrated in the summer months. Fields are cultivated with barley, wheat, mustard, and vegetables, and livestock such as yaks, dzos, sheep, and goats are raised for milk, meat, and wool. Traditional Ladakhi homes, built for survival. The traditional houses in Ladakh are built using local materials like mud bricks, stones, and wood, designed to withstand the extreme climate. Walls are thick to retain heat in winter, and windows are small to minimize heat loss. The houses are usually south-facing to receive maximum sunlight, and roofs are flat, allowing snow to be easily removed in winter. Many homes have a central stove, bakari, that burns wood or yak dung to provide warmth. Since fuel is scarce, Ladakhis use energy efficiently, often sharing a single heated room during the coldest months. Solar energy is increasingly being used, and many homes now have solar panels and passive solar heating systems to reduce reliance on firewood. Traditional clothing, protection against the cold. Ladakhi's traditional clothing is designed for warmth and durability. The ganka, a long woolen robe tied at the waist with a colorful sash, is worn by both men and women. It is often paired with sheepskin or pashmina shawls, which provide extra insulation against the cold. In winter, thick woolen caps, gloves, and leather boots are worn to protect against frostbite. Yak wool and pashmina wool, some of the warmest natural fibers in the world, are commonly used for making shawls, sweaters, and blankets. Spirituality and religious practices. Ladakhis lead a spiritually rich life, with Buddhism and Islam playing an important role in shaping daily activities and cultural values. Most Ladakhis are Tibetan Buddhists, and their day often begins with prayers, meditation, or spinning prayer wheels. Monasteries, gampas, are central to social and religious life, serving as places of worship, learning, and cultural preservation. Monks, known as lamas, are highly respected in Ladakhi society. Many families send their children to monasteries to receive education in Buddhist philosophy, meditation, and traditional arts like thangka painting and wood carving. For the Muslim community in Ladakh, daily prayers, namaz, and Friday congregations are important aspects of life. Islamic traditions in Ladakh have blended with local customs, creating a unique cultural identity that reflects harmony and mutual respect between different religious groups. A life of simplicity and harmony with nature. Despite the modern world's increasing influence, Ladakhis continue to maintain their traditional way of life, closely tied to nature and the rhythms of the seasons. Their deep knowledge of sustainable living, resource conservation, and community support has helped them survive in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Ladakh is one of the most isolated and remote regions in India, surrounded by some of the highest mountains in the world. Its rugged landscape, extreme weather conditions, and high altitude make transportation and connectivity a major challenge. Despite advancements in infrastructure, much of Ladakh remains difficult to access, especially during the harsh winter months when heavy snowfall cuts off major roads and highways. For centuries, Ladakh was connected to the outside world through ancient trade routes that linked it to Tibet, China, and Central Asia. Traders traveled across the treacherous mountain passes, carrying salt, wool, spices, and other goods on the backs of yaks and ponies. However, in the modern era, Ladakh has developed roads, air routes, and digital connectivity, although travel remains unpredictable and often dangerous. Road connectivity, the only lifeline for many. Ladakh is connected to the rest of India primarily through two major highways. The Lemmanali Highway. This road, stretching about 480 kilometers, 298 miles, connects Ladakh to Himachal Pradesh. It passes through some of the highest motorable passes in the world, including Tanglang La, 5,328 m, or 17,480 feet, and Barilaka La, 4,890 m, or 16,043 feet. This highway offers stunning views, but is only open for about 4 to 5 months a year, typically from June to October, due to heavy snowfall in winter. The Lesrinagar Highway. This route, around 420 kilometers, 261 miles long, connects Ladakh to Kashmir and is equally important for transporting goods and people. It crosses the Zoji La Pass, 3,528 m or 11,575 feet, which is notorious for landslides, avalanches, and extreme weather conditions. The highway is also closed during winter, making it impossible to travel by road. When these highways are closed, Ladakh is completely cut off from the rest of India, and the only way in or out is by air. Dangers and challenges of road travel. Traveling by road in Ladakh is not for the faint-hearted. The narrow, winding roads are built on the edge of steep cliffs, with deep valleys below. Landslides, rockfalls, and snowstorms are common, making every journey an adventure filled with uncertainty. Sudden weather changes can turn a sunny day into a blizzard within minutes, trapping travelers in remote areas. At high altitudes, oxygen levels drop significantly, making long drives exhausting, especially for those not acclimatized. Drivers often take frequent breaks to adjust to the thin air. Vehicles must be in top condition, as breakdowns in the middle of nowhere can be life-threatening. Despite these dangers, road travel remains the most common means of transportation for locals, tourists, and the Indian Army, which has a significant presence in the region due to Ladakh's strategic location near the borders of China and Pakistan. Air travel, the only year-round connection. When roads become impassable during winter, the Kushak Bakula Rinpoche Airport in Leh becomes the only link between Ladakh and the rest of the world. Located at an altitude of 3,256 meters, 10,682 feet, it is one of the highest commercial airports in the world. Flights operate to and from major Indian cities like Delhi, Srinagar, and Chandigarh, carrying passengers and essential supplies such as food, medicine, and fuel. However, air travel in Ladakh is also highly unpredictable. Strong winds, snowstorms, and low visibility frequently cause delays and cancellations, leaving passengers stranded for days. For locals, air travel is expensive, making it unaffordable for many. Those who need urgent medical treatment or supplies often have to rely on government subsidies or army assistance to fly out. Public and local transport, limited but functional. Within Ladakh, public transport is minimal. The region is sparsely populated, and there are no large cities with extensive bus or taxi networks. The main options for getting around are buses. The Jammu and Kashmir State Road Transport Corporation, JKSRTC, operates limited bus services between Leh and other towns like Nubra Valley, Kargil, and Pangong Lake. However, these buses are infrequent, slow, and unreliable, making them impractical for daily commuting. Shared taxis, mostly SUVs like Tata Sumos and Mahindra Scorpios, are the most common and efficient way to travel. These taxis operate between Leh and remote villages, but due to high fuel costs, fares can be expensive. Motorbikes and private vehicles. Many locals and adventure travelers prefer motorbikes, as they offer more flexibility in navigating the rough terrain. Motorbiking in Ladakh is popular among tourists, but it requires skill and experience, as the roads can be extremely dangerous. Digital connectivity, a new era of communication. For many years, Ladakh had very limited phone and internet connectivity, making communication with the outside world difficult. However, in recent years, the Indian government has invested in better telecommunications infrastructure, improving access to mobile networks and internet services. Mobile networks, BSNL, Airtel, and Jio are the primary network providers in Ladakh. However, only postpaid SIM cards work, and coverage is still patchy, especially in remote areas. Internet speed is slow, and frequent disruptions occur due to weather conditions or technical issues. Satellite communication, in extreme situations, especially in military zones and remote villages, satellite phones are used as the primary means of communication. The Indian Army and emergency services rely on these to coordinate rescue and supply missions. Wi-Fi and internet access. In Leh and some major towns, cafes, hotels, and guest houses offer Wi-Fi, but it is slow and unreliable compared to other parts of India. The introduction of fiber optic networks in some areas has improved connectivity, but high-speed internet is still a luxury. Impact of poor transportation and connectivity on daily life. The lack of reliable transportation and digital connectivity affects every aspect of life in Ladakh. Education. Many students have to travel long distances to attend schools, and during winter, many schools shut down due to extreme cold and transport difficulties. Online learning is difficult due to slow internet speeds and power shortages. Healthcare. Medical emergencies can become life-threatening due to the lack of hospitals and the difficulty in reaching them. Patients often have to be airlifted to larger cities like Srinagar or Delhi for treatment. Trade and economy. Since roads remain closed for months, businesses and markets depend on stockpiled supplies. Fresh fruits and vegetables become scarce and expensive in winter, and locals rely on dried and preserved food. Tourism. Although tourism is a major source of income, its seasonal nature means that hotels, restaurants, and guides struggle to find work in winter. Many locals migrate to warmer cities during the off-season, adapting to the challenges. Despite these difficulties, Ladakhis have adapted to their unique transportation challenges with resilience and ingenuity. They have developed sustainable transport solutions, self-sufficient communities, and innovative survival strategies to thrive in one of the most remote regions of the world. Education in Ladakh presents unique challenges and opportunities due to the region's high altitude, extreme weather, and geographical isolation. Despite these difficulties, the people of Ladakh have placed great importance on learning, with a growing focus on modern education while preserving traditional knowledge and cultural heritage. Schools and educational institutions have adapted to the harsh climate and logistical difficulties, ensuring that children receive a quality education despite the odds. Challenges of education in Ladakh. The education system in Ladakh faces several obstacles due to its remote location and extreme climate. Some of the biggest challenges include 1. Harsh weather and school closures. Ladakh experiences long and severe winters, with temperatures dropping as low as -30 degrees Celsius -22 degrees Fahrenheit in some areas. Due to the extreme cold and heavy snowfall, many schools shut down for months during winter, disrupting the education of thousands of children. Unlike other parts of India where schools remain open year-round, students in Ladakh often face long breaks in their studies due to weather conditions. Even when schools are open, getting to school can be difficult. Many villages are far from the nearest school, requiring children to walk long distances through snow-covered paths, rocky terrains, and freezing winds. In rural areas, transportation is almost non-existent, and parents worry about their children's safety during the journey. 2. Limited infrastructure and resources. Many schools in Ladakh lack proper infrastructure, especially in remote villages. Classrooms are often poorly heated, making it difficult for students to concentrate in winter. Some schools rely on traditional wood stoves or solar heating, but these are not always sufficient. Additionally, there is a shortage of trained teachers, books, and modern teaching materials. Since Ladakh is geographically isolated, it is difficult to attract qualified educators, and many schools depend on volunteers or teachers from outside the region. Internet access is also limited, making online education and digital learning tools unavailable to most students. 3. Language barrier in education. Ladakh has a unique cultural and linguistic identity, with many people speaking Ladakhi, a Tibetan dialect, Urdu, and Hindi. However, most textbooks and exams are in English or Hindi, creating a language barrier for young children who grow up speaking Ladakhi at home. Many students struggle in their early years of school as they have to learn subjects in a language that is not their mother tongue. To address this, efforts are being made to develop educational materials in Ladakhi and introduce bilingual teaching methods. Some schools now use Ladakhi as a medium of instruction in early education, gradually transitioning to Hindi and English as students advance. Efforts to improve education in Ladakh. Despite these challenges, significant progress has been made in improving education in Ladakh. Government initiatives, local NGOs, and international support have played a role in developing better schools, improving infrastructure, and providing scholarships for students. 1. Establishment of alternative schools. To tackle the harsh winter problem, alternative schools with innovative designs have been developed in Ladakh. One of the most famous examples is the Druk White Lotus School, also known as the Rancho School, made famous by the Bollywood movie Three Idiots. This school incorporates solar-heated classrooms, sustainable architecture, and eco-friendly infrastructure, allowing students to study comfortably even in freezing temperatures. Another revolutionary initiative is the SECML, Students' Educational and Cultural Movement of Ladakh, founded by Sonam Wangchuk, an engineer and education reformist. SECML is a unique school that focuses on practical learning, self-sufficiency, and sustainability. The campus is designed using solar energy, and students participate in hands-on learning experiences, such as organic farming, construction, and renewable energy projects. These innovative schools serve as models for future educational development in Ladakh, proving that learning can continue even in extreme conditions. 2. Winter learning programs. To counteract school closures during winter learning programs have been introduced in several parts of Ladakh. Some NGOs and volunteer groups set up temporary classrooms and study centers where children can continue learning even when their regular schools are closed. These programs also offer extra classes to help students catch up on lost studies when schools reopen. Additionally, there is growing interest in e-learning and digital education. While internet access remains a challenge, some organizations have started providing offline digital learning resources, such as preloaded tablets with educational content in Ladakhi, Hindi, and English. 3. Scholarships and higher education opportunities. For many Ladakhi students, access to higher education is a major concern. There are few universities and colleges in Ladakh, and most students must travel to Jammu, Srinagar, Delhi, or Chandigarh for further studies. Recognizing this issue, the Indian government and several NGOs have introduced scholarships and financial aid programs to support Ladakhi students pursuing higher education. These scholarships help cover tuition fees, travel expenses, and accommodation costs, enabling more students to continue their studies. Additionally, Ladakh now has Ladakh University, which was established to provide local higher education opportunities in subjects relevant to the region, such as environmental studies, sustainable tourism, and Buddhist philosophy. 4. Promoting traditional knowledge and skills. While modern education is important, there is also a strong movement to preserve Ladakh's traditional knowledge and skills. Ladakh has a rich heritage of Tibetan medicine, handicrafts, wool weaving, and sustainable farming, and efforts are being made to integrate these subjects into the school curriculum. Some schools and training centers offer courses in traditional arts, Tibetan medicine, and eco-friendly construction techniques. This not only helps keep Ladakh's culture alive, but also provides students with valuable skills for employment and self-sufficiency. The future of education in Ladakh. Education in Ladakh has come a long way, but there is still much to be done. The government and local communities continue to work towards improving school infrastructure, attracting qualified teachers, expanding higher education options, and integrating modern technology into classrooms. With the increasing influence of globalization and tourism, there is also a growing need to balance modern education with cultural preservation. The goal is to create a self-reliant, educated, and environmentally conscious generation that can lead Ladakh into the future while respecting its traditions and natural heritage. Healthcare in Ladakh is one of the biggest challenges faced by the local population due to geographical isolation, harsh weather, and limited medical infrastructure. Unlike urban areas in India where hospitals, pharmacies, and emergency services are readily available, Ladakh has very few medical facilities, and accessing proper health care can be extremely difficult, especially in remote villages. Despite the challenges, efforts have been made to improve medical care, introduce modern technology, and integrate traditional healing practices to ensure the well-being of Ladakh's residents. Challenges in healthcare access. Ladakh's unique geography and climate create several major obstacles for healthcare services. Some of the most critical issues include 1. Extreme weather and limited accessibility. Ladakh experiences 6 to 8 months of harsh winter, during which many villages become completely cut off from the outside world due to heavy snowfall and road blockages. This isolation makes it nearly impossible for medical supplies, doctors, and ambulances to reach these areas in emergencies. Many expecting mothers, elderly patients, and individuals suffering from chronic illnesses face life-threatening situations simply because they cannot travel to a hospital in time. Even in Leh and Kargil, the two largest towns in Ladakh, hospitals struggle to function properly during extreme winters. Power shortages, frozen water pipes, and lack of heating systems make it difficult for medical staff to provide effective treatment. 2. Shortage of doctors and medical staff. Ladakh has a severe shortage of trained doctors, nurses, and specialists. Most medical professionals prefer to work in cities where they have better facilities, higher salaries, and a more comfortable lifestyle. As a result, many villages do not have a single doctor, and even Leh has limited specialists for serious conditions like heart disease, cancer, or surgery. Patients requiring advanced medical treatment must travel to Srinagar, Jammu, or Delhi, which is time-consuming, expensive, and sometimes impossible during winter. Many people suffer from preventable diseases simply because they cannot access the right medical care in time.